Atlanta on a crisp late autumn night. The city which has undergone major reconstruction through the 80s and early 90s, where tonight HBO Sports presents World Championship Boxing. We are live in the Omni, where first 1988 heavyweight Olympic gold medalist Lennox Lewis faces 1984 heavyweight Olympic gold medalist Tайрелл Биггс in a fight scheduled for 10 rounds.
Fighters fight. Lewis, as you can see, a more accurate puncher. And as you can also see, although Biggs is well known for his jab, Lewis throws more jabs than he. This is a matchup of two power forwards who like to move in behind big jabs.
Rules, and for that we turn it over to our unofficial official scorer, Harold Letterman.
Lennox Lewis and Tarell Biggs will fight tonight using the rules of the Georgia State Athletic Commission. 3 judges scored a fight on a 10-point must system. No standing 8 count. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the last. And if the fight is stopped because of a cut produced by an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards after 5 rounds have been completed. Up until then, it's a technical draw.
All right, Harold, thanks very much. Right now, let's go to the familiar face and voice of ring announcer Michael Buffer for pre-fight introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Omni Arena here in one of America's greatest sports cities, Atlanta, Georgia, where tonight, Main Events Monitor Productions, in association with the undisputed, undefeated king of beer, Budweiser, presents professional boxing for your entertainment. All the bouts tonight, ladies and gentlemen, are sanctioned by the Georgia State Athletic Boxing Commission. The 3 judges assigned to this first bout will be Erwin Deutsch, Bobby Ezor, and Frank Skilbred. And the 3rd man in the ring for this contest is Frank Santor. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a special bout in the heavyweight division scheduled for 10 rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the white trunks with black trim. He weighs an even 231 pounds. He is the 1984 Olympic gold medal champion in the super heavyweight division, and now as a professional his record is 19-4 with 12 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Tyrell, the TV Biggs. And across the ring in the blue corner, his opponent wearing the red trunks with black trim, weighing in at 230.5 pounds. He also is an Olympic gold medal champion in the super heavyweight division from 1988. He's undefeated now as a professional, 17-0, 15 by KO, ranked number 3 in the world by the WBA. Ladies and gentlemen, from East London, England, Lennox Lewis.
The main question as we go into this fight is whether Tyrell Biggs can muster the same kind of enthusiasm and energy as he had against Riddick Bowe. If he does, he can make a very good fight out of it, perhaps even win it.
Among heavyweight contenders, Lennox Lewis is ranked 3rd by the WBA, 5th by the IBF, and 6th by the WBC. Tyrell Biggs, after his loss to Bowe, is no longer ranked in the top 10 by any organization. Lewis comes out firing and lands a right hand to drive Bowe into the ropes.
There you go.
Make it Biggs, not Bowe.
You may be thinking of the future, Larry.
Yeah, I'm thinking of something that might happen down the road.
Biggs looks a little soft around the middle to me.
Doesn't look as sharply trained as was the case against Bowe a couple of months ago. Biggs told us he only had 2.5 or 3 weeks in which to get ready for this fight. And maybe Lewis senses that and has made a determined effort to come out of the blocks extremely fast. And now Biggs tries to get the jab going.
And you know, it's unusual for the book on Lennox Lewis is that he's a very careful fighter. Works behind the jab And for him to move out of the blocks like that, Jim, is quite a surprise. He looks like he wants to get it over with in the first round.
Clearly wants to make an impression on American viewers and the American boxing writers seated at ringside. When Tarell Biggs can get the jab working, he is a very stylish-looking heavyweight. Wild right hand, just missed by Lewis.
One of Biggs' biggest problems in the past was that he tried to punch and get out of the way at the same time. And it took all of the sting out of his punches. He said tonight that he's going to sit down on his punches, and he finally realized that he has to hit you and hurt you when he fights you. It's not any amateur.
Both men are landing the jab here. Biggs has not tried to follow with anything. Lewis is the one who is throwing big right hands over the top, most of which have missed so far, except for the one early connect that pushed Biggs into the ropes.
But as you can see, Tyrell Biggs is fighting from a flat-footed stance, which is very, very unusual for him. None of the side-to-side movement, not on his toes.
Lead left hook just missed for Lewis. Now two right hands land, and another. And Biggs ties him up. Round one coming to a close. Lewis lands two more right hands. Biggs in a little trouble, but the bell is going to sound.
We spoke about the amateur attitude that might be ingrained in these fighters from their long amateur histories, but right there, Lennox Lewis showed us some real professional attitude.
Just relax and use your jab, okay?
He certainly did, Larry. He came right out bombing.
Just stay relaxed, okay? Stay relaxed. Stay relaxed, Tyrell.
Stay relaxed. There you see Lewis squaring off and trying to put some real hurt on Biggs. Same sequence, different angle. It's unusual for a British heavyweight of any kind to fight this way. Gil, we're usually used to seeing them wanting to lay back, amateur or professional.
Well, you know, I did mention the fact that John Davenport, an American trainer, is his trainer, moved over from New Jersey. But again, John has worked mostly with amateur fighters. But you can see that Lennox Lewis looks like he certainly has advanced quite a bit since
well,
his
he was exceptionally
days.
aggressive in his last fight against former cruiserweight Glenn McCrory, and he has come out firing again tonight. Lewis, once again, pinning Biggs against the ropes with right hands, and now Tarell pivots off the ropes and lands a couple body shots.
There's that trying to punch and get out of the way at the same time. You saw Biggs flick that left hand out. Didn't quite reach Lewis with the punch. There it is again. Short with the jab.
Well, Larry talked about the amateur experience. Biggs was a great amateur where the payoff is for putting your glove on the target. In professional boxing, you should put your glove through the target. And it took him a long time to learn to even try that.
Well, Jim, I think you should put your glove through the target whether you're an amateur or a pro, because if you hit a guy with a stiff punch, you knock him off balance and you can hit him with 2 or 3 more.
There's a trickle of blood now from Tarell Biggs' mouth, spilling over the lower lip. Left hand was solid.
Work that 3 down. Here you go, baby. Move it.
If you saw Biggs Tyson in 1987, you know that Tarell gets a very pained expression on his face, almost as though he's about to weep when he's being badly beaten in the ring. Traces of that expression are already beginning to creep around the eyes of Tarell Biggs tonight.
Lennox Lewis looks like much the stronger guy physically, Jim. Looks like he can handle Tyrell on the inside.
Stay hard. Go.
There was a solid jab from Biggs, and now he tries to follow up to the body and lands twice. And Lewis continues to step forward. That right hand did not connect. So the crowd loved the effort. Uppercut is solid, and Tayrell Biggs once again pinned against the ropes. And Biggs with a left to the body and a left over the top.
Good stiff left hook by Tayrell Biggs. And Jim, this is the first time I've ever seen him fight this way, completely flat-footed and really trying to bang away. That's what he told us he was going to do in the interview, and that's what he's doing.
10 seconds to go in round number 2, and in the second half of this round, Biggs has started to come alive a little.
Stop.
And we remind you, coming up a little bit later in the evening.
Right? Jab, right hand. Hands up, start stepping to him, okay? Start stepping to him. Remember, but step to him with your jab, right hand behind him, okay? Take control.
Very often the difference in fights like these is you have one fighter on the way up who's never had his shot, still has a dream of being a champion. The other fighter has had his shot. Can the other fighter, meaning Biggs, really sustain his enthusiasm through a barrage of punches?
Well, Larry, if in fact Biggs can land a couple of good solid punches, he can get that adrenaline flowing. But he can get discouraged a lot easier than a Lennox Lewis can get discouraged in a fight.
And right now in this round, he's already taken 2 discouraging right hands. That one just missed. But this is rapidly deteriorating toward target practice for Lennox Lewis. There's a good stiff jab. And another. And there's the right hand he was supposed to follow with.
I like the way Lennox Lewis goes back down to the body with that left hook after he throws a combination to the head.
One of the things for which Lewis has been criticized in the English press is an inability to put punches together. So he has been working on that.
One thing I noticed with Lennox Lewis, there's that left hook underneath again. One thing I noticed, he really doesn't feint as much as I think he should feint. He walks, he gets within punching range and snaps that jab right out. Sometimes it's good, you feint a little bit, let the guy fall for the feint, then you nail him.
Very little head movement for Lewis. Could be a problem later on, particularly for a guy who's 65 inches tall, and down goes Biggs from the solid right cross.
That was a good, solid right hand right on the chin.
7, 8.
Tarell's going to get up at 8.
Here we are.
Gets a little breather. He showed courage against Bo. And there's another right hand, and that might be it.
2, 3.
I think that Tyrell is starting to think that to himself, Jim, that might be it.
Now he's going to make one more try.
You okay? You want to go?
No 3 knockdown rule in effect here. No 3 knockdown rule. So Tarell can go down again without automatically being out of the fight. Both knockdowns were on the right cross. Lewis throws another one. Biggs goes down again, and the referee's seen enough.
That's an impressive victory for Lennox Lewis. A good scalp to have. And I'll go in the ring and find out where he's going from here.
Okay, let's do that, Larry. See if he's going to pick his next opponent by committee or who's going to pick the opponent.
Well, you're right. He told us before that he was very enthusiastic about going ahead with top-flight opponents. But that his business managers had to temper him. My interpretation of that was he wants to fight bums, and they don't want him to fight anybody that good.
Well, but now he has the most credible name yet on his dossier of vanquished opponents. And for Biggs, whether he will listen or not, surely several people will advise him that this should have been the last time around.
Well, you know, he was very, very impressive in this performance, Jim. Come right out, look to get the guy out right away, search and destroy. That's what he was doing, and he did it.
You know, one of his hobbies is playing chess, Lennox Lewis. And I thought how appropriate for a guy who has a reputation as a boxer. But he didn't play chess out here. He was playing search and destroy Nintendo.
That's correct.
All right, let's take a look at the 2-3 knockdowns make it in round number 2. There was the first solid right cross, as you said, Gil, right on the button. Tarell making the mistake of coming up with no glove in front of his face.
Anytime you slip a punch, Jim, as you said, he should have come up throwing a left hook, even just to protect himself. But instead, as you can see here, doesn't do a thing, just stays there and bang right on the chin. Lewis looked like so much strong. He looked so much stronger.
Here's the second of the 3 knockdowns. There's the wild left that Biggs threw in attempted retaliation. And clearly he was still groggy from the right cross that produced the first knockdown.
Yeah, the second knockdown certainly was not a solid punch. You can see it just about caught him almost in the back of the neck. But you can see.
And now we'll take a look at knockdown number 3. They were against the ropes as Lewis tried to finish things off. The uppercut was vicious, and Biggs had had enough.
He certainly did. And if you take a look, he looks really like he's been battered badly in the 3 rounds.
There's the uppercut that set up the final punch. So Tarell Biggs is waved off after the 3rd knockdown, and Lennox Lewis has the 18th win of his career, the 16th by knockout. And we go to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Frank Santor stops this bout in the 3rd round, enforcing the 3 knockdown rule. The official time, 2 minutes, 47 seconds of the 3rd round. The winner by TKO victory, still undefeated, Lennox Lewis.